Hey folks, Crazy Climber 80 here again, and this time we're going to look at a game called Versus Mach created by Nintendo in 1985 for the Versus arcade cabinet. And this was also ported to the NES. This is a pretty bland looking motorcycle racing game, and it takes place in the distant future. Although this is really not all that interesting, and the graphics are really subpar, it might have some influence on the later Road Blasters, which this is a little bit similar to. You ride on your motorbike and you can shoot the enemy vehicles. You can also shoot objects on the side of the road. See, kind of a futuristic looking get-up he has there. There are two major versions of this in the arcades. There was the fighting course and the endurance course. And we'll start with the endurance course, and I think that might have been the more often seen version. In the fighting course, you are timed. You can crash into objects and you scatter into little poor-looking sprites. And you just try to get a certain distance. Here you have to get 20 kilometers. Now, in order to drive faster, you have to push up. Oh, sorry about that. I'll get started anew here. But you have to push up, and that'll change gear, and you can repeatedly push up, and you'll change more gears. And see, you can shoot. You have a certain amount of shots. And bumping enemies into the objects on the side of the road might be able to increase your shots. You can run out fairly quickly. See, I'm almost out already. But see where it says distance at the top center, it says 6 kilometers, and I'm rapidly approaching the end. See, crashing doesn't end your game or anything. It just costs you time. It can end your game in the other mode, in fighting course. But this is the endurance course. I'm almost to 0 kilometers, so I've almost finished this. And that indicator tells me I did. Look at all that time I had left. But the puddles in this game, and there will be oil slicks as well, they can really cause you to fly off the road. And you get a bonus for cars that you bumped into the side of the road, or bashed into, I think. And then you get a bonus for your time left. Now I have to pass 22 kilometers. But yeah, be careful with your shots. Like I said, you can run out of them real fast. Sometimes... Oops. There I crashed into an object. It looked like I crashed into one earlier on and it didn't register. Poor hit detection. Very uninteresting graphics. Just really not a very good game. But, like I said, this may have been an influence on the later Road Blasters, because they play fairly similar. Yeah, you can keep pushing up and you will switch to the different gears. I think the first one, as you hold up, that's plenty fast enough. But, oops, guy hit me from behind. But yeah, just keep an eye at the top center, and you'll see you'll see how many kilometers you have left to reach your goal. But yeah, I think bumping enemies into the objects on the side of the road replenishes your shot meter. Ah, shit! Oh, there, I just made it. Yeah, this kind of has the look of like a really, really early NES game that, like, came out right when the system was brand new, and it's not very impressive at all. And here is round 3. I've got to get 23 kilometers. Like I said, there are 2 different courses, or versions of this game. There is Endurance Course and there is Fighting Course. With the NES port, there is also Solo, and there is Design Mode, where you can make your own tracks, I guess. And it has the save option to save your courses, like a number of other games for the NES did, like Wrecking Crew and Excite Bike. But that save mode only works with the Famicom, you know, the Japan version of the NES. I remember when I had Wrecking Crew, and I was like, why can't I save my custom levels? Well, that's why. It was only supposed to be for the Famicom that you could save. See, I'm switching between the gears. There's 4, 3, 2, 1 at top center. Am I gonna make the distance? I'm really close. Yeah, don't go crazy with the shots. Ooh, I just made it. Okay. But this is versus Mach Rider, and I think I might have seen the arcade version of this, but I never really played it, and I'm glad I didn't, because it's really not that good. You have to get at least 20,000 points to get on the high score list. I have to make 28 kilometers. Yeah, now we've got oil slicks, and these really cause you to fly off the road. Oops. Yeah, I am not enthralled with this game at all. This was suggested by YouTube user Charlie Cat. Usually he suggests Neo Geo games, but asked for a Nintendo Versus game. That's okay, even though it's not very good. I would imagine that the NES port looks very similar to this one graphically. I mean, this one doesn't look very good. But also, like I said, this might have had an influence on the later game Road Blasters, because it's fairly similar. In the Fighting Course, this is the Endurance Course. In the Fighting Course version, you have a story mode. And we'll look at the Endurance, or the Fighting Course mode later, or version. You have, in that one, you have an energy meter, and when that's depleted, your game ends. You do not have a timer, I believe. And once, after the first level, then you only have 2 lives, and you lose them by running into stuff. And ran out of time. Oh well. But that is the Endurance Course version of versus Mach Rider, and I'm going to put in my initials. But there are a total of 20 tracks for the Fighting Course, and when you complete half of them, you get a picture of a woman created in between rounds. A little bit of the picture revealed at a time. And I think when you reach the halfway point of the 20 courses, you get an extra life. And yeah, from the second race on, you don't get an energy meter, you just have 2 lives. And when you crash twice, your game will end. But we are now going to look at the Fighting Course version of versus Mach Rider. I'm not enthralled with versus Mach Rider by any means. Not a particularly good game. But like I said, it may have been an inspiration for the later game Road Blasters, which was created by Atari Games in 1987. See, here is a story mode. It tells you a little bit about the story, and you can choose course A or B, or track A or B, and they'll be different. And it says you are a Mach rider, and you go and race that track. But yeah, I do have a shot meter here. I do not have a timer. I have an energy meter, and when that is out, and I deplete it by crashing, when that is out, my game will end. And I still do have a distance of kilometers I need to pass, and then I will have beaten that track. God damn it! And there's the end of that track. I'm not gonna get very far. I don't care. See, you saw those little pictures put out there. That's not just a graphical glitch or anything. That's going to eventually be put together as a picture of a woman. But that's only after you beat the 10 initial courses or tracks. But yeah, this is just not a very good game. Racing games around this same time were mostly much better. Not as technically flawed, much smoother, and much more interesting. And now we have snowy courses, or icy courses. Yeah, I ran out of lives. Like I said, you get 2 lives there. Now here we're going to see that just before the 10th course you get an extra life. I put in a cheat so that I can automatically end the course here, just so I can show you what it looks like to get the picture finished. And it's a gal holding a dagger. Okay. Well, that is versus Mach Rider. We've seen both the endurance course and the fighting course versions. This was created by Nintendo in 1985 for the arcade Versus cabinet. Well, that was versus Mach Rider by Nintendo in 1985 for the Versus arcade cabinet. This is Crazy Climber Eddie saying thanks for watching Versus Mach Rider by Nintendo in 1985. I will catch you later in the future with another video. Stay cool, everybody, and keep hydrated. Have a good one. Bye-bye.